Hey viewers, you're watching the Savera and I'm Vidhi Joshi. France intends to formally recognize a Palestinian state at the United Nations General Assembly in September. President Emmanuel Macron announced. He called it a move is intended to revive hopes for peace in the Middle East. In a letter addressed to Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas and shared publicly on the platform X, Macron confirmed his government's decision to press ahead with Palestinian recognition and vote to work with other international partners to follow suit. True to its historic commitment to a just and lasting peace in the Middle East, I have decided that France will recognize the state of Palestine. Macron wrote, I will make this solemn announcement at the United Nations General Assembly next September, he further mentioned. France, which is home to Europe's largest Jewish and Muslim communities, will become the first major Western power to take this step. Until now, recognition of a Palestinian state has been driven largely by smaller nations, often more critical of Israel. Macron's decision could reshape the diplomatic landscape and add momentum to a long-stalled movement for Palestinian sovereignty. The announcement sparked immediate backlash from Israel and the United States. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, responding on X, called the move a reward for terror and warned that it could lead to the creation of another Iranian proxy on Israel's borders. A Palestinian state in these conditions would be a launchpad to annihilate Israel, not to live in peace beside it, Netanyahu said. Let's be clear, the Palestinians do not seek a state alongside Israel, they seek a state instead of Israel. Israel Defense Minister Israel Katz went further, describing Macron's move as a disgrace and a surrender to terrorism, and insisted that Israel would never allow the creation of a Palestinian entity that could endanger its existence. In Washington, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also condemned the decision, saying it undermines peace efforts and emboldens Hamas. This reckless decision only serves Hamas propaganda and sets back peace. It is a slap in the face to the victims of October 7th, Rubio said on X. Canada, meanwhile, struck a more nuanced tone. Prime Minister Mark Carney reaffirmed support for a two-state solution but also criticized Israel's handling of the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, accusing it of violating international law by obstructing Canadian-funded aid deliveries. Canada calls on all sides to negotiate an immediate ceasefire in good faith, Carney added. He reiterated calls for Hamas to release hostages and for Israel to respect the territorial integrity of the West Bank and Gaza. France's decision comes despite strong opposition from some of its closest allies. A diplomatic cable from Washington in June revealed that the U.S. had warned against unilateral recognition of a Palestinian state, suggesting it could undermine American foreign policy interests and provoke consequences. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee had also stated last month that he no longer believed an independent Palestinian state was a U.S. policy objective. U.S. President Donald Trump echoed those sentiments earlier this year when he proposed a U.S. takeover of Gaza, an idea widely condemned as a form of ethnic cleansing. Macron has been signaling this shift for months. French officials had originally planned to unveil a new peace initiative at a joint conference with Saudi Arabia in June, outlining a roadmap for Palestinian statehood that also addressed Israel's security concerns. But the event was postponed under U.S. pressure and amid regional tensions during a 12-day Israel-Iran war. The conference has since been rescheduled as a ministerial-level gathering on July 28 and 29, with a second, more high-profile event planned on the sidelines of the General Assembly in September. By making his intentions clear now, Macron is hoping to set the agenda ahead of these meetings and galvanize support among other undecided nations. Diplomats say France wants to use the momentum to build a coalition of nations prepared to formally back Palestinian statehood, though some, including Britain and Canada, remain reluctant. Israel has reportedly launched a concerted lobbying campaign to block France's move, with warnings ranging from reduced intelligence cooperation to retaliatory diplomatic actions. As per the sources, Israel officials even raised the prospect of unilaterally annexing parts of the West Bank should France proceed. The war in Gaza, which began after Hamas' deadly attack on Israel in October 2023, continues to fuel deep divisions within the international community. Israel insists that recognizing Palestinian statehood now effectively rewards Hamas, while the Palestinian Authority argues it is a long overdue act of justice and an essential step towards lasting peace. Hussein al-Sheikh, vice president of the Palestinian Authority, thanked France on X, calling Macron's decision a reflection of France's commitment to international law and its support for the Palestinian people's right to self-determination and the establishment of the independent state. With the September UN General Assembly session drawing near, the geopolitical stakes are high. Macron's announcement marks a bold gamble aimed at reigniting diplomatic engagement in a conflict that has defied resolution for decades. Whether it will inspire meaningful change or deepen existing divisions remains to be seen. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.